Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Queen, and today you guys, I will be doing a video on my life as a matchmaker slash like a Q&A. So basically, what I'm gonna do in this video is I'm gonna just tell you guys a little bit about when I used to work as a professional matchmaker for a matchmaking company, and then the other half of the video I will be answering questions which some of you guys actually asked via Instagram. I had asked the question of, if you could ask a professional matchmaker a question, what would that question be? And some of you guys actually sent me some questions over, so I will be answering those on the second part of the video. So if this is definitely something that you would be interested in watching, keep tuning in and let's just get straight into the video. All right, you guys. So just a little bit about being a professional matchmaker. I'm sure like every company that you could work at is probably different, but the specific company that I worked for, we worked Monday through Friday. Of course, we had people that would go on dates over the weekend, but we didn't handle anything over the weekend. When we came back into office, like on Monday morning, that's when we handle anything that may have occurred over the weekends with any of our clients. Every matchmaking company, I'm sure, is different. Some of them may work on the weekends, but the specific company I worked for didn't. Unfortunately, due to like privacy reasons for the type of clientele that we had, I can't really tell you guys like the name. I think they made us sign like a little contract thing where we don't like put people's business out like that because of the status of like the clientele we were dealing with. It's like private and everything. So that's all I'll say about that. I will say, like, in order for me to start this job, what I did have to do is, like, before I was a matchmaker, I did start off at this particular company as like an assistant or coordinator to another matchmaker who was already working as a matchmaker when I started. And then I was like quickly promoted to like a matchmaker, like really fast. What I will also say is like the responsibilities with this job are like coaching clients on things to do like before dates, making reservations for like dinner and lunch dates for our clients, and that's how they would meet, like on lunch or dinner dates. We would also like, talk to clients, who maybe haven't been out on dates in a long time. Like, kind of like make them feel more comfortable if they were nervous before the date. Sending out confirmations via telephone, via email for like date reservations and getting all those things done. And also the day after they go on their dates with their matches that we've like put together, we would actually give a call to them the next day to get feedback about the date so that we could see if we were going in the right direction with the type of person we were like setting them up with, and what we needed to change, what we needed to work on, or like just getting down more specific to what the person was looking for. And by person, I mean, of course, like the client. As well, sometimes you would have clients that would like go on dates, and sometimes you like nail it the first time, and the person would say, I just want to place my account like on hold, and they would continue to date that person and just see how things will go with that person. Throughout the process, I did this for a year, and throughout the process, I do have 10 successful relationships that I know of. It could be more. Some people are just really private, or these people, like, they make a lot of money. So it's kind of like some of them just don't want you to know, like, oh, like, kind of like, you did something right. It just all depends on the personality. We had a lot of different personalities that we would deal with. So some people are just like, not your business. And then you have those people that they have that connection with you and that bond with you. So they're willing to tell you like, hey, you did something right. I really appreciate it, that sort of thing. But it just varied. So also, another thing about this position is you do have to become a certified life coach. You have to go through a training. You receive a certificate for it because you're dealing with like people's like personal lives and their emotions. And these clients will like open up to you, like depending like the situation, they'll open up to you and tell you about past relationships, like what they're really going through like emotionally, and just share things with you about that. And you have to be in a position like where you can like deal with that. And so that, of course, is like something else that like comes with that with that job as well. So yeah, so it's not like when people hear about it, they're like, oh my God, like you were a matchmaker. I bet you that was so fun. What I will say is it was definitely like a rewarding job when you actually felt like, you know, you did something right and someone found someone they really liked, or they fall in love, or whatever the case may be. It's rewarding them, but it's not always like that. And you would sometimes get people that are really angry and annoyed, or they would have unrealistic expectations. One of the things that we always like would tell people, like based off of like, you know, not just like being scripted and trained, but just the reality is there is no perfect person. So there's no perfect match. We can find you a great match, but not a perfect match. So I could definitely like later, you know, like get into like more details of the job or do like a story time or something like that. But that would definitely have to be for like a later video. So if you guys would like to see that, you know, leave it down in the comment box. But what I do want to get into now, you guys, is I just want to get into the questions. So like I said in the beginning of the video, I asked on Instagram, if you could ask a professional matchmaker a question, what would the question be? So I have the questions right here. So I'll be looking down just in case you guys are wondering what I'm looking down at. I have the questions here, and I will be reading the questions off, and then I'll just answer them. Now, I won't be answering them like I would normally answer a question, like just like my friends. Like, of course, I give my friends the best advice that I can, but on this one, I'm gonna do it as a professional matchmaker, as my old job title. So I'll just go ahead and get into the questions, all right? So the first person asks, what happens if you don't get a response after the first date? I would definitely say from a professional like standpoint, and just from like using like just kind of like common sense and not being like judgmental, I would just say, honestly, before you jump to a conclusion, just check and make sure the person is okay, because we do live in life, and life things do happen. So, you know, you don't want to just assume the person isn't interested, and they really may be, and something might have happened, like it could have been a family emergency, you know, anything can happen. So you just want to double check. But then once you double check, if you're still, and that person still isn't like, you know, within like a day or 2 or 3, like responding back, then it might be time for you just to move on. That's what I'll say. But I wouldn't assume automatically like, oh, like the person isn't interested, because anything can happen between the time you went on the date and now. So you just want to like, you know, just make sure first before you jump to a conclusion. Okay, the next person says, do you offer to split the bill on the first date? All right, so the company that I was speaking of that I worked for, the way we would have things set up is we would set up the reservations for the clients to go out on dates. The way that we have it set up is they are already both informed that the expectation is for the bills to be split, because first of all, we don't even know if they're really gonna like each other, or they're gonna click. And just having that expectation off top that you are splitting the bill kind of takes off the pressure off the other person. Even though this particular service, these people like were pretty well off, but still, just in general, I would say, I mean, it's completely up to you guys. I mean, most of the time, even like with me working in the service, I would just see like, especially if it was an okay date or if it was a great date, the guy usually is gonna say, hey, you know, I have it. Like, you know what I mean? But just to take the pressure off or whatever, then that's that. But also in like just regular everyday life, I would say more whoever asked the person out on the date, you know, like that's who should pay. I don't know, but I think that just honestly depends on an individual standpoint. But just based off of how like we had things set up, but that was also like professionally done. So yeah, that's what I would say about that. Next is the next person said, how do you recommend dressing on a first date? I am big on like the atmosphere wherever you're going. Like it just depends, like match the atmosphere where you're going. You know, especially if you're nervous, like don't wear anything too tight. You know, if you're going somewhere where it's gonna be like pasta or something like that, where you might easily get a stain or something. Don't wear white or something that is like, because you know it's the first date or whatever the case may be, so you don't want anything like to happen, like a stain on your dress or your shirt or anything to stand out. Yeah, let's just stay away from those things from happening. So just something that's really cute and nice and goes along with wherever the setting is that you're going on the date. The next person, I guess they were saying like in life, like I guess they have like a higher expectation. They were saying, am I expecting too much? The answer I would say is no. I would say that because in life you are entitled to feel how you feel, and you are entitled to have standards for yourself. I wouldn't say you're expecting too much, but I would have like realistic expectations. Not like saying you have to dumb down what you want, but like I had said earlier in the video, there is no perfect match. There are no perfect people, but you can find great matches and you can find a great partner. So I wouldn't say the person is expecting too much. You can always have standards and high standards at that, but at the same time, just keep it realistic. Someone else said, should I dumb myself down? I don't think you should dumb yourself down, because when you dumb yourself down, you're not being true to self, and that's not who you really are. And the last thing you want to do is meet someone, sell them this dream of who you are, and that's not who you truly are. So next person says, where's my husband? So let me tell you, this question right here was so funny, because like in the matchmaker service I worked for, a lot of these people were like divorced, and like they're like so much older than me and everything, that it was just like, okay, like they already reached levels in life that I didn't, so it taught me so much in the process. But for this question, I would definitely say you would just have to like relax and be patient and have realistic expectations in life and not expect a perfect person. And I feel like that person will definitely come. That's what I would say about that. Yeah. The next question we have is, what can I do to make myself most appealing on first date? Okay, so of course we all know physically look your best, of course. Secondly, don't overdo perfumes or colognes or any of that stuff. That is like such a turn off to a lot of people, and I've heard that so many times, like working in the dating service, that people just overdo that. As well, be yourself. I know also a lot of times people can go into, like, because of their past relationships or past experiences, can go into situations like kind of like guarded or not relaxed. And the best thing you could do is just go there, like, you know, have fun, be open-minded and optimistic. You don't want to go in like it's like a job interview. Like, I get it. Like, sometimes people are like, okay, I don't have time to waste my time. Like, okay, this, and that, or whatever. But that can kind of make the date go south, or it can kind of turn the person off. So I would just say relax, look nice, you know, make sure everything with like hygiene and everything is on point, and just relax and just simply be yourself. The next question is, what if there are no suitable matches in your area? And this is so funny because I can relate to this one myself. But what I would say for that person is, if you are able to, you know, travel, because this was something else that I did see working in the matchmaking company that I worked for. A lot of these clients would travel to like different cities, different states or whatever, just to like meet people. They would date in different areas. If they felt like, oh, there were no suitable matches where they were, they would be willing and open to travel to meet clients that we had like in different cities or whatever the case may be. They would do that. So I would definitely suggest that, and I don't find anything wrong with that, because you would be surprised, like, even if you don't want to relocate, the person that you're meeting, that you might meet that's for you, may be willing and open to, you know, relocate for you. Or they may be able to just do, like, you know, they may want to like just go where you're living, and you just never know. You just never know. So I would say be open to like just dating other places. I know people don't really like long distance relationships. I don't think that it's a bad thing as long as it's not too long term. I feel like there is a breaking point where you definitely should be trying to figure out, okay, so where are we going with this, and that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely do feel that way about that, but I don't feel like there's anything wrong with like branching out into different cities and dating. All right. Next question is, can a man truly say he's sorry to a woman that he should have loved more than he ever knew? Of course. Now, what I will say is, like, if you blew it the first time, you know, you can't expect someone to say, you know, like, oh, you blew it. Oh, yeah, I accept your apology, and be all in and willing to, like, be with you. Someone can hear your apology, accept your apology, and still not want to be on that level with you ever again. But you can say it, but the damage is already done and they just want to move on. Next question. Would you be able to match me with someone? So like I would tell my clients, we can always find you a match. You may like the match, you may not like the match, but we can always find you a potential match, you know? So that would be, I guess, more related to like if I was still doing this job. And then someone else said, how long should you date before you visit their home? Okay. So this to me varies with the person, their particular situation, maybe their living situation and all of that. So it just varies off of vibes and everything. So I would say that that would definitely be something that on an individual level that you should go off of, not particularly like, oh, have the same standard for everyone. It just depends on the vibe you're getting from that person, the energy, and just those type of factors as well. So I would definitely say that, you know, and you know, you just want to like just feel that whole situation out based off of like situation to situation. Next, someone says, can you really get over someone you love by simply dating other people? I'm gonna be honest. I think that is based off of like individuals and how people's like personalities and how they deal with feelings and those sort of things. I'm gonna be honest, based off what I see, I definitely feel like what I like, you know, sit back and observe from people, that is definitely possible. Me, not trying to put myself into the question, but just me, I know that I couldn't do that because I'm not even the type of person to like really want to like date this person, that person all at once, no. But there are people that do it because sometimes I see people, they'll have like one relationship and then a couple months later they have another relationship and then they'll have another relationship, but they were just saying 4 months ago, 6 months ago that they loved this other person that they were with. So I don't know if it's like they were never in love or they were in love, but they're strong enough to be able like, to move on and still date like nothing ever happened. But yeah, so I guess that just depends on the individual. Someone else said, is it wrong to have standards? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Standards are great to have. Like, you don't want to live life with no standards. Everyone's, you know, entitled to have standards. I mean, of course, don't make them unrealistic, but definitely still have standards. Someone else said, what am I doing wrong? You know, I feel like, you know, sometimes in life when you're dating, I feel like you could possibly maybe be doing something wrong, but then I don't feel like you're really doing something wrong. Like, of course, some people do wrong things when they're dating, but a lot of times it's just not the right person. So if you feel like you're constantly doing something wrong, it's just the wrong people, because if it was the right person is gonna make you feel like you're perfect, honestly. Well, you know, there are no perfect people, there are no perfect matches, but you know what I mean. They're not gonna make you feel like you're doing something wrong. They're gonna be welcoming it with open arms and like, oh my God, like just basically like pretty much like just all about you and everything. And you know, if you won't have that feeling, like you just won't. So if you're feeling like that, then it's probably because it's just the wrong people that you're trying to date, and maybe you just need to try something different. You know, maybe step out of your comfort zone or whatever the case may be, you know. But it's just definitely probably just the wrong people. All right, and the last question, you guys, this is a good one. It says, does every man cheat? And what do you do if you can't trust? Okay, so definitely, I don't feel like every man cheats. I feel like just like you have faithful women, you have faithful men too. I don't feel like every man cheats. I won't say that at all. I feel like just like there's some good people, some bad people, or whatever the case may be, it's the same thing. And I would say, as far as the trust part, I would say if you can't trust somebody, it's like one of the two things. It's either that person has given you reason to feel like you can't trust them, so you don't need to deal with them anyway, or you may have some things within yourself that you've been through in the past that you as a person needs to heal from and get over for yourself first before you start to step out and date someone. And I feel like, you know, that could definitely be like a huge factor, especially with those things when it comes to like cheating and stuff like that. A lot of times you'll get like damaged like one time or whatever the case may be. Somebody has done something and you're like, oh my God, like I can't trust this person. And that person has nothing to do with the last person, but it's just that you're not completely healed from the situation. You're not completely over it. So sometimes you just have to like take a step back, work on yourself, not date anyone, just breathe or whatever for a second. And then, you know, once you feel like you're emotionally ready and just in a better mental space and you're ready to meet someone new, then you could do that. And then that whole insecurity may not be there anymore. So you guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I could get more into details about like the whole matchmaking job, or I could do a story time or anything like that. If you guys were interested in that, please leave it down in the comments. And if you guys have any other questions, you know, concerning this at all, I'll be more than happy to like, you know, answer your questions and just hear your point of views as well. So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So next time, guys, bye.